What's up everyone, it's Joey, Blush Response, and welcome to the Analog Complex Oscillator Shootout. Let's get right into it. Complex Oscillator Shootout. The whole gang is here. I've got the Instrual CSL, the Endorphins Further Generator, the Hex Inverter Mind Phaser, and the Make Noise DPO. And as you can see, there's already a lot of patch cables here. I've got them all going into the SSF Vortices Hi-Fi for mixing, out to a filter, which is the Surge VCFQ, and then just a VCA and Mimeo phone as always. I chose these four because I think these are the most similar in functionality. Other people were asking me to throw the Spectrophone in, or the Shapeshifter, or the 3-body, and I don't think that's a fair comparison. These all kind of try to do the same thing, just in different ways, whereas if you start getting into Spectrophone, well, that's additive, spectral, harmonic. The Shapeshifter is a wavetable FM synth with analog wavefolding. It's a completely different environment, so I don't think it's a fair comparison. So we're going to stick to these four. Other people mentioned the Cosmotronic Vortex. I don't have one. It ain't here. Let's go. So, Instrual CSL is the first one. Listen to that wavefolder. This one has two different oscillator cores, which produce two different types of wavefolding because of the way they react. I think sound-wise, it's really dope. I'm a little worried in this comparison only because I don't think I can definitively tell you which one is the best, because they're all awesome. I love all of these oscillators. I use them all in many tracks. They're fantastic, especially the DPO, which I have had the longest since it first came out. It was basically the first analog complex oscillator in Eurorack, and it revolutionized everything. Before that, the only real complex oscillator you had was the Hertz Donut version 1, which was also amazing, but the DPO was the first analog complex oscillator, followed soon after by the Further Generator. Here's the Further Generator. So the Further Generator is interesting because it emulates both the 258 and the 259. You can do the sine to saw shaping that's present in the 258, and then also the 259 sort of, the 259 wavefolding. I'd say of the two here so far, the CSL's wavefolder is much more dramatic, just right off the bat, but we're going to play with that a bit more because the CSL's wavefolder offers more stuff you can do with the symmetry and a little bit more modulation. Okay, now the Mind Phaser, which is just a completely different sound. And you have two curves. That little da-da-da-da-da you're hearing is the VCA triggering. Okay, let me turn that off just so there's no confusion. That's just not like anything, really. And then the DPO. Now let's start engaging some modulation. So the DPO has inbuilt routings for modulating the wavefolder. The interesting thing about my DPO and the early DPOs, this is one of the first ones. It has vactrals, so you get different types of modulation curves. And God, it's such a brute. I love the DPO. I've used it on so many tracks over the years. I mean, I've had it for more than 10 years now. It really is just wow. I think I've had it for 11 years. it never ceases to amaze me. You can do soft sync with the modulator, bring in that FM, and then you start getting, the cool thing is you can have one FM the other. So you can get that kind of insane feedback noise. Which is just next level shit. With little reverb. It gets properly nutty. DPO. Ooh. Sputtering out. It's so radical. Oh God. Wow. I love that shit. See, I can't. There's some stiff competition these days, but back in the day, this was the only game in town. Let's get the CSL going with some modulation. Now, the thing that's annoying about the CSL is to assign modulation, you have to press this button and then click on the different kinds of modulations. So good luck if you can remember what they're assigned to, because it doesn't really say. But you can also do FM, two types. You can't do linear and exponential at the same time, which the DPO lets you do both with each separate attenuator. But they can modulate each other. I think reverb and delay are always necessary. Oh, that's so big. You see, it's so hard. They all sound so good. It's really tough to say. You just got to decide what sounds good to you. 1 minute ago, I was like, wow, the DPO is the best thing I've ever heard. And then now I'm like, well, no, the CSL sounds really good too. This is the most difficult comparison I'll ever have to do in my life. Even when I think about like, oh, maybe I want to take a vacation for a month and travel, and I try to plan cases, I don't know which oscillator to pick because they're so perfect. Further. Bring up the mood index. So what's interesting about the further generator is you have the biggest selection of waveforms for your modulator. You can select them here, which you can get PWM, you can get this random modulation, you can get saw and square, and you can also send in an external input, which is cool. The DPO can do that as well. So I could technically use the DPO sign right into here. And it replaces that sample and hold. And this will get some beastly tones too. Get that reverb in. Yeah, metal. You could do ring modulation, which is bounce mod, as well as amplitude mod separately, frequency and further mod of the wave shaper. This one has the best pods for fine tuning because they're multi-turn pod. And you can sync the modulator, also make it low range, hard sync, in and soft sync for the modulator and the carrier, which is the only one that has that. Ooh. Now, Mind Phaser. So to me, the mind phaser. Oh, I can't, man. These are all too good. Yeah! The mind phaser just, it sounds the most different. I don't know, they all sound pretty different, but this one is the most new sounding, I'd say, in some way. Something about it sounds more, and I don't mean this as a detriment, it sounds almost like digital. It has a precision, which I really enjoy. Yeah, and I mean, you have the through zero modulation. It's the only one with through zero phase modulation. Also, these are based around FM. This one's based around PM. That's one thing of note. But just fucking, oh. Yes. And you can do PWM on the index mod. That feedback is really handy. It's the only one with feedback on the wave folder. And those two separate wave shaping curves. Oy. Yes. Little 120 to get us started. Ooh. Now, one thing I want to talk about is layering, because what I see people do a lot in Eurorack is they'll use one oscillator per sound. And it's quite often it'll be like, oh yeah, the piston Honda's doing this, the DPO is doing that, the braids is doing this. It's like, well, let's mix them. Yes! That's the CSO and the mind phaser. Noise! Further generator. The solo that make the ultimate drone dry. And the DPO. We're gonna patch them all into each other. Modulating the index. Why not? Let's get messy. Back to that mind phaser. Back to the further. A modulating index from a mind phaser. I definitely think the further generator has the most limited modulation out of all of them. But it does sound really good. You gotta decide whether you need all that modulation. Let's speed it up a little. Sequencing. Yes. CSL. Ooh. CSL sounds tougher. Yes. Yes. Tough. I like the CSL. Speed up a little more. Getting crazy with the seal. My phaser. Ooh. Touch modulation. Slow that. Ooh. psychedelic. Oh my god. The mind phaser. Fuck yeah. Fuck that mind phaser. Oh my god. Wow, I can listen to that forever. That's the freshest thing right now. Feedback. Yes. Yes. Ugh. Fucking Christ. Oh man. Oh my god. DPO. Trying to do that same modulation. Recursive modulation. Ooh. Nice. Ooh. Fuck, the deep is wild too. Ooh, that's deep. Yes. Ooh. Fuck, DPL started 2. This is tough. Go back, see yourself. Yes. CSL. Hype. Fuck. Oh man. Tough. So tough. Oh my god. Fuck with them. Oh my god. Fuck, this is tough. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow. I'm headbanging. One thing to mention is the CSL has a sub oscillator. Important. But god, that's tight. Further generator. Ooh, tough. It's got a depth to it, like, god, these are all so good. Square wave mod. That's where you unlock the potential. Different waveforms. And I love these switches. You just be like, flipping between the different modulations is a great idea. Let's get it going. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, I love the switches. Nice. Got some beefy bass. Yes. The switches are everything. Oh my god. Mind phaser. Ooh. Bring in the DPO on top. Like I said, layering. Dancing my ass off. Further generator. Yes. CSL. All 4 oscillators layered. Yes! Fucking insane. Don't be afraid to twist these into weird places and just get wild. Don't care about preserving your sound, just fuck with your sound. Yeah. Oh my god. Noise terror! Complex oscillators are fucking awesome. So that was otherworldly. I can't give you a definitive answer because they're all so good. Observations. Further generator has the most limited modulation, but at the same time has the most performable modulation because of the switches. It also has by far the cleanest sound, which is useful for doing certain things, which I think were highlighted in the demo. It's cool for really beautiful sounding sequences. Mind phaser, the most futuristic sounding of them all, in my opinion. It just has this cutting sound. It almost reminds me of like a Nord lead in the best way, and I mean that 1000% as a compliment. It sounds awesome because of that. Also the only one with 3-0. DPO has, I would say, the most aggressive sound, the most distorted, the most noisy of them all. It holds a special place in my heart. It was also the first to market, so it's amazing. Also quite limited in modulation as compared to the CSL, which has the most of them all, and the Mind Phaser, which has the through zero as well as the feedback and a couple other special bells and whistles. CSL, I would say, is closest to the most classic sounding, but also with the most thorough modulation. And if you're in a small system, keep in mind it occupies the smallest footprint. I think that's a big win, as well as having the 2 wavefolders and the 2 primary oscillators, the sub oscillator. It is the most feature packed of them all. These are all fantastic. I don't know what to say. They're just all so good, especially when you layer them. And the sounds were out there, like really, really out there. So samples of this jam are going to be up on my Patreon as always. Every sound you heard here, you're going to be able to fuck with in your own way. And please fuck with your sounds. Enjoy it. Special announcement, I have a new album out called Dimensional Research on Erica Synth's new label, Contactor Records. There are 2 editions. One is black vinyl, and here's the colored edition. It's 2 different discs with 2 different colors. You get a marbled blue for the A and B. I love that blue. And a marbled white for the C and D sides. And then of course there's the black edition as well. These are shipping out now. The colored edition is super limited to 50 copies, and there's more of the black. I'm really proud of this album. It's been a long time coming, and I'm so happy to have partnered with Erica to do it. So check it out, Dimensional Research. The link is going to be here in the pinned comment in the video description where you can buy it. They're already shipping, as well as my label Megastructure. There's a new cassette release from Low End Resorts. This is Romulo del Castillo of Phoenicia, along with Nick Forte, coming on a special white clear cassette. It's a full album of them two. If you don't know Romulo, he's from the act Phoenicia, which released on Warp. He runs the label Schematic in Miami, which brought us such artists as Richard Devine, Otto von Schirach, and many more. And then Nick Forte has been a part of many acts that were on labels such as DFA, Cranky, Hospital, many more. 2 IDM heavyweights. They're bringing their first album of their new project, Low End Resorts. Check it out on my label Megastructure. Link in the pinned comment video description as well. If you want to support the channel, there are many ways you can do so. There's going to be affiliate links in the pinned comment video description where you can buy anything through those links and you support me, as well as a link for signing up for DistroKid. As always, thanks for watching. Check out the album. Until next time, peace out.